Alright, we're going to talk about the quotient rule. So we had the product rule, which is the multiplication of two different functions. Now we're going to talk about the quotient rule. And so when I talk about the quotient rule, what we're talking about is two functions that are divided by each other. So it's kind of like, if you want to call it, that would be my high function, and below it would be my low function. And so f of x we're going to call high, g of x low, so we kind of have high over low. And so my little chime for this one is the derivative of the quotient is low d high minus high d low all over low low. So that's how we're going to say it. We're going to say low d high minus high d low all over low low. And so when I talk about d, I'm talking about taking the derivative. So I'm going to do the low functions times the derivative of the high function, subtracted the high function times the derivative of the low function, and I'm going to square my low function. That's the low low. I'm taking my bottom function, multiplying by itself. So for number one, if v of t is equal to t squared divided by 3t squared minus 2t plus 1, then the derivative is, and so once again, I'm going to have my high, here's my high, which is t squared, my low, which is 3t squared minus 2t plus 1, and so I'm going to go ahead and do my derivative. So v prime of t is going to be equal to, so again we're going to do the low. So my low is 3t squared minus 2t plus 1 times the derivative of my high, which is 2t, and I'm going to subtract that with my high function, so low d high minus high, which was my t squared, times the derivative of my low. Then my derivative of my low is 6t minus 2. And I'm going to put that all over low low. In this case, low low is 3t squared minus 2t plus 1. And low low means I'm just going to square it. So I'm just actually going to not really simplify the denominator. If I do anything, I would simplify the numerator. At this point, I just want you to practice actually doing the quotient rule. Tomorrow we'll practice doing the quotient rule, and we'll also practice on how to simplify. In this case, you're just going to distribute your 2t to my quadratic 3t squared minus 2t plus 1, and then I'm going to combine that with the distributing of my t squared into 6t minus 2. Again, I'll show you that more specifically tomorrow. At that point, we're talking about Algebra 1 stuff where you're distributing and then combining like terms, essentially simplifying the numerator. The denominator is as simplified as I would like to get it, so we don't have to do anything. That's it. Please do not multiply your low together. Just square it. Number 2, what is the instantaneous rate of change at x equals 2 of the function given by f of x is equal to x squared minus 2? That's my high. Divided by x squared minus 1. This is my low. And so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do my f prime of x is equal to my low, which is x minus 1. Please use parentheses, times the derivative of my high, which is 2x, minus my high, which is x squared, minus 2, times the derivative of my low. In this case, it's just going to be 1. And this is all over my low, which is x minus 1. Whoops, let me undo that. Minus 1, and I'm just going to square it. And so I'm going to go ahead, just before I plug in, I'm just going to go ahead and simplify just a little bit. Actually, let's not, because I think you guys would like work with numbers better. So if I find f prime of 2, let's go ahead and just plug in. I think you would like that better. I'm going to plug in for each of these x values. So my first parentheses, 2 minus 1 is 1. In my second parentheses, I have 2x, so it'll be 2 times 2, which is 4, minus. And then I'm going to do x squared minus 2. So x squared will be 2 squared, which is 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. and then multiply by 1, which is kind of redundant, so I'm not going to bother. Then finally in the denominator, I have 2 minus 1, and then I'm squaring it. And so what those will be, 4 times 1 is 4, minus 2. 2 minus 1 is 1, so 1 squared is 1, so I really have the number 2. Alright, number 3, suppose that f of 5 is equal to 1, f prime of 5 is equal to 6, g of 5 is equal to negative 3, and g prime of 5 is equal to 2, and we're evaluating at x equals 5. That's what all these 5's mean, guys. This x equals 5 is these things right here, 5, 5, 5, 5. So we don't have to worry about plugging in. They actually give us the value. So we have no variables to work with. We just need to find the relationship. Alright, so let's go ahead and get our low and our high. My my high is my G, and my low is my F. And so I'm going to go ahead and start boxing my high. My high is here. G of 5 is equal to negative 3, and the derivative is equal to 2. And my low is my F. This is my low, and this is my D low. So here's my low, my D low. This is my high and D high. Alright, so let's go ahead and take our derivative. So this is going to be equal to, so it's going to be my low, which is 1, times the derivative of my high, which is 2, minus my high, which is negative 3, times the derivative of my low, which is 6. And this is all over low, low. Well, low, low is going to be 1 squared. So let's go ahead and simplify. 2 times 1 is 2. Then I have negative 3 times 6 is negative 18, but I have a minus sign, so this is going to change to positive all over 1, so we're talking about 20. Alright, number 4, find the slope of the normal line to y equals 3 sine x over 4 plus cosine x at x is equal to negative pi over 2. So let's first deal with negative pi over 2. If I'm talking about the unit circle, negative pi over 2 is going this way over here. So I'm going in the negative 90 direction. Well, we also know that is 3 pi over 2. Okay, so that's kind of, if you want to think about, instead of negative pi over 2, let's think about it as 3 pi over 2. Alright, so let's go ahead and quickly take our derivative. So y prime is equal to low, which is 4 plus cosine x, times the derivative of my high, which is 3 cosine x, minus my high, 3 sine x, times the derivative of my low, which is negative sine x. And this is all over low, low, which is 4 plus cosine x squared. So let's go ahead, this is probably easier if we just plug in. So y prime is equal to 4 plus, and if you come over here, we're talking about this point right here, and the point's going to be equal to, this is the point 0, negative 1. And so cosine, in this case, is 0, because cosine goes with x, times 3 times cosine of 0, which is, again, cosine of 3 pi over 2, again, is 0, so it'll be 3 times 0, minus 3 times sine, in this case, sine is equal to negative 1, times negative 1, that's negative sine, times the sine of pi over 3 pi over 2, excuse me, is again negative 1. Lots of negative 1s there. All over 4 plus cosine of 3 pi over 2 is 0, so essentially 4 squared. And this simplifies, well, these guys are just going to cancel because they're multiplied by 0. I have 4 times 0, which is 0, so I don't really care. So these are 0. And let's kind of deal with some negatives. A negative times a negative is a positive. A negative times a negative is a positive. So I have 3 times 1 times 1 times 1, which is equal to 3 over 4 squared, which is 16. Again, this is my m. I'm trying to find my perpendicular m, because we're talking about the normal line. And so we're going to deal with negative 16 over 3.